Tell us who you are.
Jonathan Hayes, Alderman, Ward 5.
Andy Gillett, Parks Director.
Karen Dixon, Alderman, Ward 4.
Mayor Jamie Clary.
Jason Gallo, Administrative Services Director.
Jim Waters, Alderman, Ward 6. Steve Brown, Alderman, Ward 4. Sure. Any complaints on accepting our agenda as written? It's not
No.
much there.
Move approval.
Okay.
Okay.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Approval of your September 13 minutes.
So move. Second.
Waters, yes.
Second.
And Mr. Hayes, second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? None. Ordinance resolution, reading in ordinance 2022-27, ordinance amending the comprehensive classification and compensation plan for the city and appropriating those funds. Mr. Gallo, I'm going to defer to you.
Sure. So this is a resolution addressing our C schedule employees. These are our seasonal employees. They have not had a pay adjustment since 2019. The C schedule is not part of our classification. When we do COLA adjustments or, cost of living, any increase that we do, they're left to the side and have gone unchanged since 2019. We've recently experienced more difficulty recruiting. Mr. Gilly can speak to that. He's been the direct recipient of people declining because wages have been adjusted other places, but this group. So we're competing with a grocery that'll sell, pay a clerk $14 an hour, but we pay at $11 or $9 an hour. And, for a young kid at 18, what makes more sense? So at that point, they're not looking at the responsibilities or the job duties or how it builds their resume. It's just getting the money.
Yeah.
And so this is addressing that. Also adding it to when we do cost of living adjustments in the future, that we consider the C schedule employees as part of that. Smaller increments over time is easier than these large hits. It is about $18,000 adjustment to the budget as well. So there's the amendment in there.
Mr. Gilly. you want to address that?
He's said it pretty well, and the ordinance is really well written in describing what's going on here. These are people like gym supervisors, tennis summer camp workers, Miss Hamlin's special needs summer camp workers. These are the type of people we're addressing with this. Also part of the ordinance is narrowing down the job description, but in a good way that gives us more flexibility to use them for multiple things. So whereas a gym supervisor, maybe we could use them to do other things like help with an event or help with practice with Santa instead of just a gym supervisor, so to speak. What Jason says, it kind of hit home for me when we were having a meeting on this, and one of our interns that works at goes to school at Merrill Hyde Magnet. He comes over here an hour a day each week, but he also makes $14 an hour at Kroger cleaning the fruit, and that was more than we're currently paying our gym supervisors to watch the basketball gyms for us. So
And not always have the best experience with the spectators.
correct.
Did we figure hazardous duty pay?
No, it is not.
Sometimes it gets to that point.
Yes.
Especially the referees.
Where's this? Jason, where does this bring this to? If we're at 11 now, does it bring it to 14?
So there is, within this, there's some pay tables.
Page 8 of your package.
Yeah, the base level would move from a minimum of 9 to 11. So those are the program workers. The program aides would go from 10 to 12.50. The assistant supervisors would go, the lowest right now is our senior tennis instructors who get $9.50 an hour. So they'll see the biggest jump, but those go up to $13.75. The others are at 10 and 11. And then our program supervisors and bus drivers are both on the same grade, but that will jump them from 11 and 13 up to 16.25. So it's about a 25% adjustment to get them being competitive to what we're seeing within, especially in the city here, where we're losing some of the talent just to do these programs.
I guess I would ask, is that enough?
I think it's a great start, yes, and I think putting them in line with the COLAs as we get those for other employees helps too. We were careful not to put the highest rate, the 16.25. That's less than a level 2 parks and maintenance worker.
Right.
Yeah.
I did not think that we needed to have these people put at the level of our parks maintenance staff at this time.
Warner,
Yes, sir.
I'm reading this about the COLA.
Mhm.
We're gonna pay them just like we do the other employees, the COLA adjustment.
So when we would do a COLA adjustment, we would also look at adjusting the C schedule, yes. So that we don't run into this issue in the future of they're so far behind all other employees. So it might be a smaller increase. We're not looking at the large increases we are right now. If you did a 1% increase on an $11 an hour position, you're talking 10 cents, 11
What
cents.
does COLA cover?
Not enough,
No,
but
no.
it's cost of living, right? So as groceries and gas go up, then
What are this COLA? I'm serious.
Yeah.
What does COLA cover? An employee here.
I mean, it's just added on to your salary. It's cost.
I understand that. What's it for? I guess it's a simple.
I guess it's the city's way of saying we recognize that price of living has gone up, so we're going to give you a cost of living adjustment.
That's right.
So,
I can understand, but full-time employees, I can.
mhm.
But for these, see,
mhm.
part-time, temporary. I don't agree. How many are you gonna have? Are you gonna add, what, another 80
We have between 80 and 100
now?
currently.
How many you gonna add on?
To what we have currently.
Yeah.
We will hope it stays between 80 and 100 throughout the year. We're at the low end right now because
But are you losing some now and you're gonna just replace them?
I hope so.
I mean, that's the purpose of it.
We're trying to. Yes, sir. I mean, just to give you an example, he sent us 10 candidates for gym supervisors. And of those 10, 2 are wanting to interview after they've looked at everything.
Just an example,
I'm
our
not
wife,
through- I'm not through.
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
If I was a full-time employee here. And you're gonna give this C schedule the same benefits I'm getting, I'd be kind of, excuse me. Teed off. You understand where I'm coming from? That's on, reading this, that's what I object to, but.
And I will say that they're not getting the same benefits that a full-time employee gets. They're not getting health insurance. They're not getting vacation or any of the leaves that we offer.
That's.
It's just,
I'm not COLA,
right. But when they can go down the street and go work at McDonald's or any other fast food,
move out to them.
then we're losing out on staffing. And so then that cuts into the programming that Mr. Gilly can offer. So there is a trade-off. I understand what you're saying, sir.
That's what I object to, just looking over this, and highlight. That's all I got, Mr. Chairman.
I was just gonna say, as an example, the YMCA during this past summer paid a $500 bonus
Mhm.
to their lifeguards just for signing on. And they, as long as they stayed 2 weeks, they got to keep it.
2 weeks.
It's just hard to get people to work. These young people, they're
They don't want to work. Unfortunate,
Let
but
me
that's,
ask you,
do the,
and the lifeguards did this, C schedule?
no, I'm just saying that they're having to give bonuses to get young people to even step up and work. Now, that's a high responsibility job for sure, lifeguard.
Mhm.
And they have to be trained. But they even do the training for them, so they'll train them. I'm curious how we're doing overall as a city, with our budget. I know we put the COLA in there. How are we doing on a scale of 1 to 10? How are we doing in being prepared for paying our current employees, all of them?
that I understand our budget's doing very well. We're in a good position. We are able to fill some of our full-time positions. We're challenged like other cities with positions that are highly skilled, like engineers, where we're not only competing with other cities, but we're competing with private markets. So from that standpoint, it's making it more difficult to compete for talent when there are limitations in our rules of how much we can pay someone, the internal equity we have in doing that as well. So That I understand from a budget standpoint, we're doing well from that perspective overall.
Are we losing many people that we don't want to go?
We are losing people.
And would it be attributed to that in your mind or not necessarily salary income?
I've only heard of a handful that have been salary, but that doesn't mean that they haven't said that to others out the door. They just don't tell HR that.
The salaries have had a bigger impact on hiring people.
Yeah.
We're not losing people necessarily on salary, it's multiple, you know, it's
There are lots
being
of
able to
reasons.
work from home, it's, they want to change job, you know, a career, that kind of thing. But getting them, the salary is where we seem to have to negotiate more often.
But you do feel strong now when you're doing an interview with somebody because of what we've done, that you can probably be somewhat competitive with whatever else they're being offered.
We can be competitive to a point. We do have a ceiling that we hit. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think overall, people look at, you know, when you're, it's been a while since I looked for a job. But I want to talk to you. Excuse me, I do want to talk to you, but not right now.
Why you done, are you through with that?
No, I am with that.
That's okay. Go ahead. I don't want to interrupt that.
No, go,
What's her name?
Kurt,
Uh,
that would be Mary Jane. No, that's her name.
What was I gonna ask?
I don't know.
Oh, how many hours a day do you give these people? Is it a certain number of?
They can, that we keep them under 30 hours a week. So it could be as little as 3 or 4 hours in a night, or it could be on a Saturday, 12 hours. It just, we try to keep them under 30 because of the rules for part-time.
The age?
Some of them can only work on weekends. The younger ones,
Because of the age.
correct.
So,
Where I was going to say, I think most applicants look at salary range, that's kind of off the top, okay, that's the first thing. I can fit in, I can probably work in that somewhere, then they go down and look at benefits, what's offered, retirement program, you know. So on and so forth, and then come for the interview, and whether you want them or they want to view the second time, then you know, sometimes they'll bust out because of that. I would say part timers are as important as full timers, depending on the job that you have them in. And you know, I've got 14 employees. I have 5 full-time employees. I have 9 part-time employees. I would die if I didn't have my part-time employees. You know, just poop. And so when I give everybody a raise, this is what we do. Everybody gets that raise. If it's a 5% COLA, everybody gets 5%. And which on an hourly employee, I think I have folks making 11 and 12 that have been around a little while, but they'll get that 5% COLA just like anybody else. And they all seem to be happy with it. So there's a lot of competition everywhere in town. You can drive up and down, you know, the folks that you are for gym supervisors are the same folks could be a shift leader at McDonald's. And so I think you've got to be competitive with that. So I understand your point too. I just don't want to throw money after something. But I certainly think this will help. If it doesn't, get some people hired, retain some people, and then be another step somewhere. I don't know what that would be. It's a tough market for employees right now. So. Anybody else? Sticks. So we're on the floor. So all in favor? Aye. Okay, all 3 of us. No opposition.
move it on the bone.
Resolution authorizing Kristen Weigel photographer to use the house at Heritage Park for pictures with Santa. Let Mr. Cleary or Mr. Gilly is one.
I'll speak to it. This has been to the Public Works Committee and to the Finance. No, yes, Public Works and Finance 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
We wanted to bring it to you all because we brought other agreements that are similar to this to the General Committee also. She will be using 2 weekends a month. I mean, two days a week for the month of November. She'll be there on the weekends. She's going to pay to have the house cleaned before and after. and has asked $1,000 that she donates be appropriated back to Mary's Magical Maintenance Fund. There was a question in the other committees about parking. The way she sets it up is very simple, where there's 5 people at a time and sets the time slots, and I'm not concerned about that.
So basically you have to call or go online, make a reservation to get in.
Correct.
Only thing, I'd add 2 things, is that it is a for-profit company. She is making money on this, reason we brought it to you, and it's on your agenda at the board meeting tonight under consent. The reason I put it under consent is because at that point, 3 of the 4 committees will have heard it.
So it's on Boma tonight.
It is.
Okay.
You just explain that briefly when we go to agenda, why it's on consent. I think it's a good idea. See anything wrong with it. It gives utilization of the building.
I'm gonna be first in line.
Oh, good.
Or you sit on, never mind.
I move.
Um,
I'm curious, what are we using the house for now?
This,
Okay.
we've used it.
There's no more
we-
fire departments.
No, there's no more fire departments there. It's still maintained. We're able to use the restrooms when we have different. When we had a FFA competition out there, so we opened the restroom. We've had this will be out there. I
Yeah.
mean, various things that we've had out there. Cross-country races have been out there.
Might be the beginning of some, I mean, that's nice, $1,000 and
I mean,
It's
I
better
think
than
it's
nothing.
better than sitting there, and a good use and gets people out on that property.
Cleaning the house might be worth more than $1,000.
Absolutely.
Or I'm just curious. Are the lights on the house supposed to be on?
The outside security lights, yes.
All the inside ones are on too.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Great.
But I started to text you last night. And I thought, well.
They had a Friends of Indian Lake board meeting there last night,
There
in
wasn't
the
anybody
house.
there, so it was.
so they must have left the
you know,
lights.
I must have-
They're the, what do they call that? We'll leave the light on.
We'll leave
for
the
you.
light. Motel 6.
Yeah, Motel 6.
By the way, if y'all have any ideas about somebody to inhabit or use the house on a regular basis, long-term basis, we are very open for that.
Yeah,
We have had people approach us, and we have approached people about using it on a long-term basis. And what I don't want is, I don't want there to be a leak. I don't want there to be some problem with the house and we don't notice it for a month.
yeah. We do go out there and maintain it
Yeah.
and check it
But it
regularly.
looks good. I mean, it's finally got caught up a little bit with the dry weather with the weeds and the side ditches and stuff. And it looks good. You know, there's I can't give you a deer count right now, because even though if I go 5 miles an hour, I can't really count the number of deer out there, but we probably don't want to talk about that.
No.
So all in favor 2022-45,
Ah,
3 ayes,
Thank you.
1 nays.
Boma tonight. Okay.
And it's gonna be on Bowman tonight. Anybody want to adjourn?
Make the most of adjourn.
I'll second.
All right, we've got 3 people on adjourn, so we're good.
You got more than that. to want to
You want-
Only 3 can vote. So.
That's true.
We just adjourned.
We can fire it back up, though.